If you are someone who owns a home, or you love thrift store things, you love used things, you love roadside things, yeah, we're talking bed bugs, we're talking termites, and we're talking carpet beetles. Like, oh my God, the things that can wreak havoc on your home and on your mental status, we're talking about them today. And you're not going to ever forget anything that you see or hear in this video because it is disturbing. It's very disturbing. So, but I can tell you, it's good stuff. It's really good information. So again, if you're a homeowner, this is something you need to hear. If you love thrift stores, this is something you need to hear. And it's going to give you a little bit more perspective on why we have to be very careful with our homes and what we bring into our homes and how we prevent things from happening in our homes. So let's jump into today's episode. Remember, this is episode 9 of my podcast. I don't have a video for every single podcast, but down below you can find the links to listen to all the other episodes 1 through 9. Well, yeah, 1 through 8, and this is number 9. So let's jump into today's interview with Rory McCarty from Bug Boys. I am on a podcast with Rory McCarty. He is the owner, one of the owners of Bug Boys, a pest control that serves Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia, and a bunch of other places. Yes. And I'm so excited, Rory, to talk to you. This is something that I've really been wanting to do since last summer when you came and treated my house for termites.
Right. We were so busy last year and it was so hard to get on.
Yes. And I think the only word that comes to mind is I was really enthralled by you because not only did you represent yourself in an honest way, because you're somebody dealing with termites and you're scared that you're going to run into the wrong person who's going to take you for a lot of money.
That's the reason why I opened this company.
Yeah. You're looking for hard-working people, honest people who are going to just help you solve this problem. But also, you've got a YouTube channel, and I've never seen anybody get as excited about termites as you do. So I thought, you know what? I'm hiring this guy. And when you came to my house, I just loved you. And I said, if I ever do a podcast, I'm going to have you on, and I'm going to put you on my YouTube channel and all that good stuff. So welcome, Rory.
Welcome.
Yes.
It's nice seeing you again.
Yes, definitely. And so how I had met you, just for everybody who's listening, is about a year ago, I got some pictures from my tenant who lives in my townhouse that we rent, and it was termite. And I knew that it was termite damage just by looking at it, the telltale signs. And I'd never dealt with termites before. And I remember calling around to a couple of places, and I can't quite remember how they wanted to treat, but I remember when I talked to you, you're like, nope, this is what we got to do. And this is how much it's going to cost. And this is going to get rid of the problem. So right. Can you walk me through, like, for someone that has a termite problem, or how do they even know if they have a termite problem? And what's the first thing that they do? Walk me through what happens, what that process is like for a homeowner who thinks they might have termites. Or an even better question is, does everybody need to have a termite inspection?
Absolutely. And if you watch my videos, I plead with homeowners, be proactive, get your house treated. Don't wait till you see the problem, because what happens is between the 9th to 12th year, so when your house is built between the 9th and 12th year, that's when termites come and knocking. Mm-hmm. People don't understand that termites are so prevalent in and around, of course, down in Florida. And as you get north, it starts more north towards Canada, things like that, it's less. But our area, the Silver Springs, the DC, the Northern Virginia, all the way out, it's prevalent everywhere. So every house, it's not if you're going to get termites. It's not if you're going to get them. It's when you're going to get them. And people, what they do is it's out of sight, out of mind. So they wait till they got a problem. And usually when they see a problem, it's because of the termites are swarming. Mm-hmm. Or someone is changing a door, the front door or their windows. And when they open up the windows and get behind the drywall, bam, that's when they see the problem. So I tell people, one, get your house checked every other year if you don't get it treated. Get it checked every other year. But what you've seen is you've seen the swarm. Mm-hmm. So this time of year, right now, March, April, May, and June, this is the time of year to keep your eyes out. You will see little black bugs swarming out with long, silky wings. Most people think they're ants. And what they do is they get the bottle out and they spray it. And I always tell people, don't spray nothing. Don't spray nothing. Because what I do is when I come in, I want to get this treatment right on top of where they're coming out. So I don't want to kill them right away. The ones you're seeing that are swarming out are all kings and queens, and they're not even the ones that do the damage. So people think, I'll kill those, then I don't see them anymore, and the problem goes away. But they don't understand, inside the walls, the white ones, the workers, are eating your house 24 hours a day. They don't sleep, they don't hibernate. So what they're doing is they're coming up, swarming, eating your house, and then going back down. And the swarmers that you see, it's mating season. So they're swarming out. They need to leave the colony forever. So when they swarm, it's like now. And they give a pheromone off, and it's take flight. And they want to get outside to pair up, to mate, to start forming their whole new colony to attack your house or attack the other houses that are nearby. Sometimes people come home and the swarm's gone. And they see all these wings all over their floor. And they don't think anything of it. They go, oh, okay. And then next year it happens again. But when you see that, that's when you need to not spray nothing, call me right away so I can give you a free inspection.
Yes, it's a very frightening thing. And I'll tell you, several years ago, I want to say 2014, I was renovating my laundry room and I was about to do the flooring. I took off the trim and I saw what I knew to be termites. It was so scary. And it was so, gosh, how do I even explain it? Just like, what's going to happen now? How much is this going to cost me? And I remember calling, I don't even remember the company, but I called this company. They came, they didn't do anything related to what you did. And we can talk a little bit about that in a moment in terms of how you actually treat for termites. And remember, I took so much footage. I think I didn't even share that when you came to treat my house for termites. I didn't even share that footage yet. So I'm going to put this footage in the video. But the man who came to treat this, all he did was he did an inspection and he literally just walked around. Well, I don't really see anything, but let's put this little, I don't even know what it's called. I'm going to call it like a feeder box or something right at that location. And that's it. Nobody came back to check. I didn't see any other signs, damage. I didn't see any swarmers. So I thought, but I have seen the termites in my yard. We had this big oak tree or maple tree. And whenever I would peel back those heavy bricks lining the tree, I would see them under there. So I'm like, okay, I know we have them in the yard. I've seen them in the house. But again, it was this fear of, oh my gosh, if I call somebody, it's going to be very expensive. Maybe we don't have a problem. What you're describing, people will say, oh, they're gone. There's no more problem.
That's the thing about the industry. The bug industry has a black eye, unfortunately. And when I worked for companies before, it's high pressure sales. If you didn't come back with a sale, you had to sit down, in front of your branch manager. They want to know where you were, what you proposed, and things like that. And it was just to the point where these guys have got to sell something. They got to come back to sell something. So when they're going out, it's high pressured sales. We need to sell something. So it can be to the point where, oh, you got termites and things like that. So when I opened this business, I wanted to be that person of honesty, of integrity, to build this company. So it was never the point where when you do that, the homeowners see that. They see that honesty in you. And I explained to them, listen, I didn't find no problem, but I always encourage homeowners to get their house treated. So a lot of companies, you'll hear people saying, oh, I know you're going to find termites no matter what. And I don't find termites.
And it's that question of not whether you have it or not. It's a matter of when will you have this problem? Now, are there certain parts of the country? So the people who are listening to this, my readers, my viewers, not all of them are going to live in this area or live down south, or I guess technically Maryland is south. It's below the Mason-Dixon line. But what about other parts of the country? Are there parts of the country where termites generally are not a problem?
Termites are in every state except Alaska. They're in every single state except Alaska. And like I said, as you get from the Florida to the Texas to the California, there's Formosan termites, which are twice as worse than the subterranean termites that we deal with on the East Coast of the Maryland, Virginia. But as you get farther north up into higher of PA, of course, PA, I know a lot of companies, we treat PA. But when you get farther north toward Maine, it starts lacking off. Michigan starts lacking off. But again, there's termites in those areas. But the major problem is from Florida all the way up to the Pennsylvania. Ohio's got a problem. But as you get out east or west into Phoenix and California, then you're dealing with Formosan termites. And then you're dealing with dampwood termites, and you're dealing with drywood termites, which they only have to go back into the ground. And that's when people have to come in and fumigate, put a tent over your house to fumigate your house to get rid of them. But of course, in our area, thank goodness we don't have to worry about that yet.
Yeah. So for people who are, let's say there's people who are moving into a new house, they're buying a house, whether it's newly built or whether it's an existing home. So we know, based on what you said, everybody should be getting termite treatment just for preventative measures. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like? What does a preventative treatment, of course, going to get inspections every 2 years, but what does it look like and how?
Well, it's the same process if you're treating your house, if you had termites, okay? You don't want to do anything different. When you're buying a house, like I always tell people when they're buying, I go out and do an inspection. In a lot of real estate that you have to have a termite inspection before you can buy a house. A loan company doesn't want to loan you $300,000-$400,000 if there possibly could be hidden infestation. So when they buy a house, I do the inspection, I clear it. Okay, there's no evidence of termites, but I always tell them you should get, even though I check your house, because think about this. When you're looking at a house and the basement's completely finished, termites, what they do is, and a lot of misconception is, I'll always hear people say, Rory, I got a brick home. I got a solid poured concrete foundation. Why would I need to protect my house for termites? They don't know inside that home, your joists, your headers, your floors, your drywall, the back of your drywall has that paper. Your 2x4s goes, your whole structure, the cavity of your house is cellulose, is wood. And termites, what they do is they're deep in the ground, 50, 25 feet deep in the ground. A colony, a termite, subterranean termite colony lives in the ground. They do not live in your home. They're eating your home. So what they're doing is they're coming towards your house. And once they hit your foundation, they run the foundation searching for cracks. Concrete cracks, brick cracks. All they need is 1/64 of an inch. That is the width of a piece of paper to get in.
That's not very thick at all.
Yeah. So once they get like a brick home, that brick is against the block. They come up between the brick and the block and they get into their house and they build their tubes. So everywhere they travel, they have to travel in mud. Okay. They're not like an ant. You won't see them going across unless they swarmed out. But they have to build a tube from point A to point B. So a crack, they get inside, they build up through. Termites are in your wood. Termites will be in your house 10 to 15 years before you notice that you have a termite problem.
Oh my gosh.
And then what happens is if you don't get anything treated and you wait, Rory, I don't see nothing. I'll call you if I see something. And I'm thinking, you're not going to see anything. You ain't going to see anything until they start coming through your drywall. So if you watch my videos, I always tell people, don't wait for termites to come through your drywall. Get your house treated now. Because if they are in there, by treating it, every termite that's in your house has to go back down into the soil every 48 to 72 hours to get moisture and also to feed the colony. So they're coming up and down. So by treating the exterior, the soil of your house, what we're doing is applying a product that binds with the soil. So these termites, when they come up, it is the same ingredient that you put on the back of your cats and pets, what's called flippernel. So those termites, they smell that, they like it, they rub up against it. And as they tunnel through that soil to get to your house, or as they're leaving your house, they tunnel through that soil. Termites are very clean. They have to groom and lick each other. If they don't, mold and fungi can grow through the colony and kill them all. So they're always picking stuff off of each other. So what happens is when they get this dose in them, they go back to the colony, it starts flaking off into the colony and it starts killing the workers, the secondary reproductives, the kings, the queens, the nymphs, to the point where it eliminates the colony. Before, when you treated your house, back in the day when they used chlordane and Durspan and these other chemicals, it deterred the termites. That's when you treat your house smelled so bad. You come home, oh my goodness, I can't even stay in. This product here has no smell to it. So the termites come up, they don't know it's there, or they are attracted to it, where the chloridane, they smelled it and it deterred them. So it created a barrier so they couldn't get in. This here, we don't create a barrier anymore. The termites just tunnel right through it and get it on them. Okay.
And what's really interesting too is how you actually drilled in the concrete around my home. So and I don't know, was it every few feet, I believe, in my concrete driveway, and then you patched it up afterwards. And I didn't even know that you were there.
So there's two different ways you could treat for termites. Okay. Is through the bait system, which I'm not a fan of, because I did over probably 25,000 of them over the 25 years of being in this business. I stopped using it years ago, because what happens is companies will come in, they'll install a bait system around your house, and it wants to bait the termites in. But what happens, they will charge you, okay, $350 to $400 a year for them to come out, take 20 minutes, open up, see if there's anything in it, put it back. One time a year. Most companies only do it one time a year. Some companies do it twice a year. Now, imagine paying $350 to $400 every single year. Then it goes up.
That's
After
expensive.
3 years, if you read your contract, it'll go up every 3 years. So what we do is we want to treat the exterior of a house all the way around the soil around your house. So if you have a slab that abuts your structure, we need to drill through that. Now, depending on what product we're using, where if we're using the high efficiency stuff, we do it every 18 inches. And see, that's the thing I believe is between us and other companies, is we take time. Once we drill your concrete or have to lift your patio blocks up or whatever, we want to put everything back the way it is. So we take time. Like, you have to pass a test. You have to pass a test by me in order, if you are even allowed to patch holes or not. There's some people in my office are not allowed to get near the cement when we're patching holes. It's just not their stronghold. So we want to treat 360 degrees around the exterior of your house. If we run into a slab, we drill every 12 to 18 inches, rotting, injecting this treatment under that slab. One of the main areas where termites will attack first is a slab, because it holds moisture and it holds warmth. Two of the things that termites need to survive. So when we want to do this, right up against your foundation, all the way around your house. Now, if you have soil, we want to dig a trench, a 4 by 6 inch trench or a 2 by 2 inch trench up against the foundation, rotting, injecting this treatment. So when them termites leave that house and they come through, termites are foragers. They are foraging 24 hours a day. In a 6 months period of time, termites will range all the way out to 300 meters. That's a football field away.
Wow.
So wherever a termite colony is, imagine they can go a 300 meters in all directions to attack John that's a football field away, and then come all the way back. So in that range, wherever termites are at, whatever cellulose is going to be checked. That's why they can find a stump, they can find a wood pile, they can find a fence post. And imagine your house, how big your house is. They could easily find your house.
Which leads me to my next question, because we had a really interesting conversation as you were treating my house about some misconceptions about putting wood chips around your home, which leads me to my question. My question is, what are the risks of bringing termites to your home, and what are some of those misconceptions?
Yes, that is huge. When, you always hear people, when I find them in the mulch, they say, oh my goodness, they came in the mulch. I just brought that mulch in, they came in the mulch, which is just not true. And I like mulch, because this is the reason why. Okay. Again, if you watch enough of my videos, like most of the houses I go to have rock. Okay. And they put rock down thinking that they're deterring the termites. So imagine a termite come into your house, it's deep in the ground. They have no idea there's rock there. They have no idea there's mulch there. So they're hitting your foundation, okay? They're gonna get in regardless of whatever you have there. What the mulch does, it acts as an early warning device, like a security alarm, okay? If you have mulch around your house, you can go out there every year and lift up the mulch, because what does mulch do? It keeps them to the surface. It keeps the hidden invaders in the open. So it lets you know when they hit your mulch, that's when you know to get your house treated. But if you have rock, okay, they come up, they hit the rock, there's nothing for them to eat. There's nothing for them to keep them at the surface. So they go down low, they hit your foundation, they run your foundation into your home. I just did a guy, I wish I could tell you his name because he literally said he was so mad that when I went into his basement, he had so many termites and he had rock all the way around his house. And he said, I literally put rock so I wouldn't get termites. He said, do you know how much money I spent to prevent termites getting the rock? And I see this all the time. So every time I go to a house and I'm videotaping and putting it on YouTube, I will always upload it. Okay, we got another house with rock. Let's see if it worked. I go down in the basement and their house is just ate to pieces.
So we definitely know that based on that, we definitely want wood chips around the home, which can be an early detector. What are some other things that could draw termites, even though it's a matter of not if, but when? I know that I've heard never keep wood piled close to the home. Are there other things that homeowners can do in order to reduce their risk of getting?
Like I was telling you, termites are foragers. You're talking about an insect that doesn't sleep and that doesn't hibernate. Okay. And so when they're in your ground and they're there, okay, that's their home. So they're going to be out foraging 24 hours a day, searching for food. Okay. So you as a homeowner, what can you do? One of the things that I do, like we did at your house, is when we got done treating your house, I'll take these pine stakes. I get it like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. There's just a piece of pine 1x, and I'll stake them up against the foundation of your house. Some people who say can't afford to get their house treated at this time, what they would want to do is take a pine stick, stick it up against the house around about every 15 feet, and every year go out and check that pine stick. That's one thing that you can do. Yeah, of course, keep wood piles away from your house. But if you get your house treated, like I always tell people, do I recommend that you put mulch down? No, I have rock down at my house. I think rock looks a lot better than mulch. And plus, I don't have to change it every year. Mm-hmm. But my house is treated. Mm-hmm. So if you get your house treated, I'm not saying to go out and go buy yourself mulch. You could put rock, keep debris away from your house and things like that. So it's easier to come out and do an inspection every year, if that makes sense. But one of the things that I do recommend is getting those stakes. Now, the stakes are not bulletproof. They might not get into the stakes. They might be low into the ground where they're getting into your basement floor, the expansion joint in your basement floor. So they don't ever come up and hit the stakes. Mm-hmm. But what can a homeowner do? The biggest thing is get your house checked every other year and be proactive if you can afford it and get your house treated.
And I think also doing the visual inspection too, especially if someone is listening to this and they've never really thought that they had a problem. They now are thinking, oh, maybe I need to go and check my yard. How would they check? Like before they call you or wherever they are in the country, what are some things that homeowners can do to check their own home? Again, putting that wood stake, but how do they identify mud tubes?
Yeah. One of the things, again, go to my Facebook page and watch my videos, and they can literally become a professional just because every scenario is on there of houses. But one of the things that a homeowner can do is when they go to the foundation of a house, get a screwdriver, get some knee pads, and if you do have mulch, okay, the black paper that you have underneath it, termites love the moisture that's underneath that black paper. Even rock, if you have rock, you can pull your rock back pull up the black and look for the little workers. They look like white little worms that they'll be moving. But one of the things you want to do is look on your foundation, go around and look for tubes, little mud tubes, and break them open if you see anything, if there's anything active. And again, you can see all this on my page. If you do have a wood pile, go to the bottom of it, pick it up, take it out from the house and see if any white little wormy things fall out. If you have a wood pile that's 20 feet from your house and you want to know, one of the things that I'll do is I would want to know when I go to a house, okay, is there termite present anywhere near the house? So I'll go 20, 30 feet out from the house. I'll go to the wood line. I've been in woods where I can't find termites at all. So you can go to the wood line, start open up branches to see if you do have a potential risk of possible termites attacking your house at one time. But you can go down in your basement, have a flashlight, check your sills it's your sill plate where it sits on the block on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Check your sills. You'll see little tubes running your sills. Pull your insulation back where your joists are running, where your joists hit your header panel. Look for trails, mud trails that are running behind your insulation. You want to do that all the way around your house. So do a termite inspection should take, if you get someone to inspect your house, he should be out there for at least 1 hour on his hands and knees, going all the way around your foundation and then inside your basement, pulling your ceiling tiles down to look up inside there to see if you do have any activity. But the good news is if you get your house treated, if there are in there, it's going to kill them. It's going to prevent them from continue to eat. And always remember, people always say, I will call you when I see the damage. Remember, some of the houses I've treated, $20,000, $30,000 worth of termite damage that's not covered under your homeowner's policy.
Oh my
goodness. A lot of people don't know that. The biggest investment you ever make in your life is your home. The biggest threat to that home is termites. $5 billion in damages they cause, more than fires, hurricanes, and tornadoes combined. The biggest threat to your home is termites. And people lack on that because there's no such thing as termite insurance. You can't go out and get yourself insurance like you can for a house fire or whatever. The only thing you can get your insurance is through your professional bug company.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that because in the last podcast, I actually talked to an insurance agent and we had, probably an hour long, if not more, conversation about insurance and all the things that are covered and are not covered. And I don't think at any time we even mentioned termites. It didn't even come up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're talking about that because people don't realize.
Growing up, I started in the bug business when I was 24 years old and I'll be turning 52. Some companies will offer like a different called a protection plan or something like that. So if you get termite damage, they have to replace and repair it. But if you Google that, you will see, you can just Google it itself, do companies replace and repair damage? Google that, you would be horrified by the people that these companies did not honor that. And they charge you $300 to $400 a year every single year. And then after the third year, it has the right to go up. Some companies are up to $450 a year. Well, add that over 10 years, 20 years. That's tremendous amount of money for that. And then you find out, oh my goodness, they're not going to replace and repair the damage in the first place. So,
and talking about the cost to replace, thinking about having to rebuild part of your home or putting in new headers because they've been eaten by termites. And I keep using the word frightening. Yeah. That's the best word that I can think of because I can just imagine how expensive that is. Even for myself, and I'll be honest with you, I feel in the part of my home, and I guess maybe you can speak to this, in the part of my home where I first saw those termites in 2014, I feel, I don't know, maybe there could be some damage in there. So I feel like I need to cut a piece of the drywall and just have a look in there, put a little camera in there. So how do people move forward after they treat for termites to make sure that they don't have structural damage that could cost thousands?
Yeah, just be vigilant. That's the thing. And look for any inconsistencies in your drywall. If you got white walls, just go through them everywhere and just look. Because if you can almost take your finger and just almost push where the termites are actually at. When someone calls me and says, I think I got something coming through my drywall, I'll literally push my finger on it and then I'll follow the tube all the way down. And then I'll go up in the basement and it's just a mess. But just be vigilant. Always be looking at your baseboards. Always be looking at inconsistencies of your drywall. And be looking in the spring, March, April, May, and June for any winged insects. If you're outside and the termites decide to swarm, it's an amazing sight where you will actually see just a swarm of bugs that look like flying ants with these silky wings. And if you see anything, the biggest thing is call somebody who, like, I'm on Home Advisor and Angie's List. We have almost, it's like a 4.9 rating on Angie's List and Home Advisor. We have the reviews. You can go, people can go check out our reviews. People are writing paragraphs about us, but it's important that you get somebody who knows what they're doing, because anybody can treat for ants, mice, things like that. When you're dealing with termites and bed bugs, you're on a whole different ball field. Okay. Yes. It's a different ball field. I just can't explain to you. Two people who have been in the business 2 or 3 years, great for them. But I'm telling you, you need someone who is very experienced, know where's to look for termites, that will give you a good, honest, free inspection. And people can go to my website, they can go to my email. Anytime they ever have any questions, they can send me pictures. I will help them in any possible way and give them honest answers if they feel like something fishy is going on.
Yeah. And that's why I really liked talking to you when I first initially called you, and I was like, hey, I've got this townhouse, this rental property. I know it's got termite damage, and you were on it. You were out there quickly. And then I said, hey, I knew I had some termites in my yard. I know at some point I saw something in my house several years ago. Can you come out? But one other thing, and I'm glad that you mentioned bed bugs, because let's talk about that in just a moment. I know there's a question that had come from one of my readers who said, can you talk about bed bugs? So let's get to that in just a moment. But back to the other question that I had about, once someone actually treats for termites, what's the next thing that they need to do, again, to make sure that their house is structurally sound? Like, should they just open up a little section of drywall, look to see what the damage?
I wouldn't recommend doing that, because you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's once you get your house treated, like now I've gone to houses to where we know I'm in the basement, say, and they have drywall on their basement ceiling. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's no way I can get up there to check that. And they had a swarm right above that. Okay. And the termites are in the second level in the baseboard in the daughter's room, coming out the baseboard in the second level. I tell them, listen, you might want to open up that drywall, because termites had to eat their way up. From when I did a house just in Vienna, Virginia, it was literally in the addition, 10 years old. And termites were in her hardwood floor so bad, it was just pulling it up. And I told her, I said, listen, for them termites to get up there, they had to eat their way up. We went down into level 1, and I said, if you take this drywall down, you are going to see a sight. This is on my YouTube channel. You can watch this.
We're going to watch that video. That sounds interesting.
She brought her brother, thank goodness, was a contractor. They were there opening the drywall the next day when we were treating it. And I told her, I said, they're going to eat their way up. You would not have believed. Addition, 10 years old. It was amazing. It was just pure destruction. And it would have cost her, if her brother wouldn't have done it, it would have cost her about $25,000.
Oh my God.
Repair, because you literally have to rebuild
the entire thing. Yeah.
But your question is, what can they do? I would not recommend start opening up drywall and looking and things like that. Ask your professional, the person who treated it, what they would recommend. If you do suspect termite damage in that area and you do need to open it up, yeah, you can open it up, but you don't want to get into more costs, because just to get a guy come out there, open up your drywall can cost you a couple $100.
Yeah.
To repair it once you do that. I would definitely ask the person that's treating your house what they would recommend. To go and just start opening it up, no, I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay. Now, bed bugs. Now, here at Thrift Diving, we love thrift stores. We love anything that's free, roadside, someone's getting rid of something, and you're shaking your head and you're like, yeah, you might want to reconsider that. And this is a question that had come, not a direct question for you, but it was a topic that had come about because this woman had said that she and her daughter had discovered, when her daughter, I think she was helping her daughter move in with her or something, and they discovered some bed bugs. Yep. And so she's like, I really wish you would talk about bed bugs. And because here at Thrift Diving, on my blog, on my channel, we do go to the thrift store. I think most of us, for the most part, are pretty careful about what we bring in. I try not to bring upholstered stuff into my house, but there's some dressers or things that I've brought in where sometimes I'm a little suspect. So In terms of bed bugs, my question would be, what are the things that you definitely would recommend people do not bring into your home that's used, because those tend to be carriers for bed bugs from your professional point of view?
When you see what I get to see when I go into people's homes, and bed bugs is devastating. It is a horror. Bed bugs are the hardest, most expensive bug to get rid of, because they can lay hundreds of eggs. And what people think is when they have a bed bug problem, what's the first thing they do? They take their mattress and they take everything that they lay on and they throw it out. And then they buy a new mattress and bring it right in. Not knowing bed bugs are everywhere. They're in your outlet covers. They're in your light switches. I did a house where I opened up the doorknobs in their bedroom. When I opened it up, there's eggs all through the doorknob.
Oh my God.
So now we take all the doorknobs off. They're behind the walls. They're in every crack. If you have CDs, books, everything that's in your room, those things will lay eggs. Again, go to my YouTube page and watch a nightstand. I just treated. I literally picked this nightstand up, and it was in the place. It's not like the place was dirty or anything.
Right.
That's where people think that you got to be dirty.
I think it's a very shameful thing. It's a very shameful infestation.
I'm treating doctors. I'm treating lawyers. I'm treating nurses. I'm treating top executives. And yes, I'm treating folks that, that doesn't, have as much as they do. But bed bugs, they're literally going to catch a ride, and they're hitchhikers. So you could go to anywhere. You can go to a waiting room. You can sit in someone's couch at their house. You can go to the mall and sit somewhere. And if that person had bed bugs and they climbed off of them, you go and unluckily sit there and they climb on you, and you take them home. But when I go to a house and people say, where can I got these bed bugs? And the first questions I ask is, did you get anything used? Okay, that's my first question. And they're like, oh my goodness, we just got that couch from such and such. They didn't have a problem until they just got that couch. We just got a mattress. We needed a mattress and we got it at such and such. So that's one of the things. And then I ask them, did your husband stay at a hotel, or did you all go on a trip? Things like that, because that's where people will get in the hotels. Who do you have coming into your home? Oh my, yes. Our daughter had 3 of her friends over. And as I think about it, her one friend supposedly had bed bugs. So this is what happens. So you need to watch who you bring into your home and sit down on your couch. There's 1,000 different ways that you can get bed bugs, but you need to find out, okay, how did I get these? In some cases, we can't figure out how they got them. But when you're buying something, sometimes you can even buy from new furniture stores, because people go into new furniture stores that have a bed bug problem and they sit down and try it out and things like that, and they crawl into the couch. I would just, if you're going to buy something, I would not bring it into your house until you expect it, that you know what you're looking for. I've done videos to show that. I've done videos on my YouTube channel that before you go into a hotel room, exactly what you do, where to put your stuff. You can watch all those videos.
And we will link to all of those videos down below in the show notes, because we need to know that. So let's say that someone does find some bed bugs in their home, in their bedroom. Let me ask you this. Is it possible to treat it yourself? Because I have had friends, and I believe this woman, but also another friend said, and she even said, look, it was very difficult to get rid of. Is there any amount of infection that a homeowner themselves can do? Or is it something that once you find one, you need to have a professional come in?
I've had many cases where people have found one. Okay. And I go there, they said, listen, it was crawling on my daughter's bed. I flip everything over. I check so thoroughly, nothing. I can't find nothing. Okay. I tell them, because to go out and to treat that whole room can get costly. So I don't want them to go and get into a cost that they don't need to get into. So I said, listen, she could have picked this up anywhere. Do this, wash everything. Okay. And then be vigilant and watch to see if you find any more. Okay. Because this is after the inspection. After I did the inspection, I couldn't find anything. And people don't call me back after that. And I'll see them or something like that. They say, yeah, we didn't see anything. I said, well, good. Then I'll go into homes where I'll inspect the house. The one lady, I inspected the house. I couldn't find nothing. Literally, I was 3 minutes down the road. She calls me, says, oh my goodness. This is even on my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness. I found them. I found them. I'm like, you're kidding me. And I went back there, and there she found them underneath. It literally was just right there. She said, get it treated. But one thing that bed bugs, when you do have an infestation, should you treat it yourself? Again, there's so many misconceptions. I go into so many homes, everybody's got this earth stuff that they put everywhere.
Oh, the diatomaceous earth.
They got it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives me crazy because I have to literally suck all that up in my vacuum cleaner while the dust is flying everywhere because it didn't work. Right. And then I'll go into homes where they have alcohol bottles in their spray bottle, just spraying their beds, and I'm literally can't breathe from the alcohol smell that they've been spraying for the last 6 months, and they can't get rid of their bed bug. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people, if you find out that you have a bed bug problem, literally don't do anything. Get out of that bedroom, shut it up, call me right away so I can come in and do an inspection. Because what happens is people start spraying and putting all this stuff down, and they say the bed bugs are in just one room. Mm-hmm. Well, what they're doing is they're spraying, they're doing all the wrong things. And what them bed bugs are going to do, they're going to run. They're going to scatter. Oh. They're going to go to the other rooms and start laying eggs in the other rooms. So a one-room problem develops into the whole house. Mm. So now your payment just went from treating a room for $400, $500, $600, just went to $2,500 to $3,500 to treat your whole house for bed bugs. Right. So I always tell people, you don't want to make the problem worse. And you get online, some of the things I read online, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe it says to do that, because we use a 3-point treatment. When I go into a home, some companies use heat. Heat's expensive. To buy the heaters itself are expensive. You can get into $30,000 to $50,000 just to buy the heaters.
Oh my God.
Heat up the room 120, 130 degrees for 3 hours and cook them out. But what happens is these bed bugs will get into a void to where the heat doesn't get to. And if the heat doesn't get to, in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, all of a sudden you got a bed bug problem again after you just got done spending all that money to heat your house. I'm not a fan of heat. Heat works. I'm just not a fan of it. When I first started treating for bed bugs, I did it all the wrong way. Completely was doing it all the wrong way. Then I started doing the right way, to where I take all the people's belongings, put them in Rubbermaid containers, seal them off, then put a band strip, a Prozac strip inside there, and bring everything to the end of one side of the room, and I do vacuuming. I take every outlet cover off, every light switch cover off, all their books, their CDs. I open up their drawers. I'm sucking with a vacuum, a HypoVac vacuum cleaner. Mm-hmm. Then I go in and use a flusher, and I flush the bed bugs out from their hiding space and suck them up. And then I do a broadcast spray with a product that I don't like to give out, because I found that it is amazing against bed bugs. And I don't want my competitors to know what that is, because we have such good success. We're like the last resort. And I always tell people, if you want cheap, don't call me, because I put value on how good I am. And people will have 2 or 3 companies come in, and they'll finally call me and say, I've had such and such, and they can't get rid of my bed bug problem. I said, what have they been doing? And they tell me. I was like, I can see why. This is what we're going to do. So to treat it yourself, I've only seen 2 people in, my goodness, when the bed bug epidemic hit probably about 6 years ago, 2 people actually get rid of their bed bugs themselves. The one lady, she almost did. She sealed all her kids' clothes up, because that's one thing you hear. Throw everything in the dryer and turn your dryer, which is fine, but make sure that you treat all your house before you bring all your clothes back in. Because if you heat everything up and the bed bugs are behind the wall or in your light switch or in your CDs or your books or wherever they can be, you bring everything back in, them eggs start hatching, then you got the problem all over again. So
it's so extensive. Just listening to you talk about packaging everything up into these big containers, having to suck everything up, it just sounds overwhelming.
It is.
Really, it's really about prevention. If you can just prevent it. So when you're buying things, just rechecking. And I've heard with people who are, let's say, and I thought about this too, because I just bought a new mattress. Our mattress was pretty old. And I was crossing my fingers the whole time. Please don't bring any bed bugs, please. Because what happens is when you order a mattress, a lot of times they will take your old mattress. And so if you've got something on your old mattress and there's a new mattress in the back of the truck, it can bring them in. So it's very scary to think that they can really get in any kind of way. I know when I buy something from the thrift store, I try to look it over even at the thrift store. I leave it outside in the garage. Do bed
Yes.
bugs tend to, like in colder weather, can you dye them out if
No,
they're
no,
cold?
it's got to be like 30 below in order to kill a bed bug. And
Ooh.
it's got to be 130 degrees for over a certain period of time to kill a bed bug. Bed bugs can go months. You've heard people say bed bugs can go 1 year without feeding.
Mm.
They can go months upon months without feeding. And if you, one of the things I want to get this is when you come home from vacation, when you bring all your luggage in, keep that stuff in the garage, keep that stuff on a
Oh, yes.
porch, and get all your clothes, put them in garbage bags, take them straight to into the washer, put everything in there. Don't put in it, just don't throw it on the laundry floor. Whatever you're bringing in there, put into the laundry, wash it on it warm and dry it. Some things you can't dry, but take it out. And if you can't dry it, make sure it's on good warm water. But
Mm-hmm.
don't bring all your stuff into the house. And that's boots, that's tennis shoes, that's everything. So be very careful what you bring in after you stayed somewhere at a hotel. So
And are there parts of the country where you notice that there's, or that you know of, that tends to have more bed bug activity than other parts?
no. It's through travel. That's where sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs play. We always thought that was just a nightly nursery rhyme. And back in the 50s, when they had such a bad bed bug problem, and then it took a 30-year, 40-year hiatus and never came back. And then with the traveling to different countries and things like that is what's brought this booming epidemic back to all cities, all hotels. A lot of people think, and you can Google when you go to travel, you can literally, there's bed bug sites that you can go to and read the reviews to see what kind of problems. So when I go to a hotel, I say, listen, I know you've had bed bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Every hotel's got bed bugs. Just put me in a room that there is no bed bugs, okay, that you didn't have a problem. I said, because I'm going to inspect it. And if I find it, I might give you a shout out.
That video on what to look for when you go to a hotel. So I'll be sure to link that down below. One last pest, and I know we know everything we know about ants, but there's one other pest that I want to ask you about. What can you tell me about carpet beetles? Because I know for myself, I've seen carpet beetles around here, and it's always during the March, April, May, when it starts to get warm. We don't have, well, I don't think we have an infestation, but I've seen them enough to where I'm like, okay, I know that's a carpet beetle. And also, I think I had some cut flowers in my van. And I don't think I've told very many people this, but I had a carpet beetle infestation in my minivan. I had to rip out everything in the van. I took the seats out. I had to not shampoo, but there was a spray that I ordered online, and it was supposed to kill like the nymphs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any problem after that, but it was traumatic. But what can you tell people about carpet beetles? What do they look like? How do they get in? I know that they're common.
Yeah,
what can you tell me
very,
about them?
very, very common. And actually, people mistake them with bed bugs because carpet beetles, when you check the mattress and you flip over the box spring, you have that plastic on the corners and you open it up, you'll have the carpet beetles in there. Carpet beetles, they're just prevalent in almost every home. What I always recommend people do is vacuum. And then after you've done that, vacuum some more, because the vacuuming is what's going, and get yourself a really good vacuum cleaner and just vacuum like you're mad. And you will see a huge, because how many people pull out, their beds and vacuum? How many people pull out their couches, their heavy couches and vacuum? Some people do it once a year, if they do that. Because when I'm checking, I pull that out, there's so much dirt and grime that no one's got back there. So they're not vacuuming. But if you really want to keep an infestation down, you want to vacuum. Plus, we do quarterly pest control to where we come out every 3 months and we treat for a quarterly fee. We take care of bees, ticks, fleas, moths, spiders, mice, rats, silverfish, house ants, carpet beetles, the whole works.
I think I'm scheduled for my 3-month checkup like in 2 weeks, I think I've got you on my calendar.
That's something also, if you're not in the Northern Virginia, DC, Baltimore, Annapolis, all Montgomery County, Winchester, all the way out Western Maryland, up to Deep Creek Lake. If you're not in those areas and in the south of Pennsylvania and you call somebody, you might want to get one to some type of scheduling. Now, it don't have to be every 3 months. You can do it 2 months. You can do it one time a year. You can do it seasonal when it's just warmer. But I would recommend that. But with carpet beetles, vacuum. But one of the things I also just wanted to let you know is one of the other services that we're going to be getting into is soft wash of your house. Okay.
What is that?
It's when you some people call it power washing your house, but we call it soft wash because you don't want no power wash to damage your siding and your roof. If you look on somebody's roof and you see those black stains and those algae that starts growing, and a roof, you can spend $15,000-$20,000 to put a new roof on. Where we come in, we spray the roof. When we soft wash it and we clean it, it will literally preserve and get that 25, 50 years out of your shingles that it's supposed to. And your siding also, there's certain fungi that will grow on your siding that will feed off of that and stain your siding, where you want to keep that. And by doing this, and the reason why I'm doing this is because of when you go out there and you treat all these spiders and things like that, their siding is so marked up with the spiders. So we want to get that all cleaned off. And by keeping a good, clean outside of the house will help the longevity of the house, and will also help with giving you a pest-free environment. But I want to plug that in there to let you know that we're going to be starting that side of the business. So if somebody has that green algae growing, or
I see that a lot in neighborhoods. When I'm out walking, I see that and I'm like, do homeowners not see that? Why are they not tackling that? Because
getting on a roof can be dangerous. Your fascia, to let your roof breathe. A lot of people get that just grind. You get that stuff on there and you don't clean it off, it's going to age your roof quickly, and it's going to cost you a lot. In your gutters, getting those gutters cleaned out. And the last thing you want to do is get up on your roof and your gutters and fall and endanger yourself.
Exactly.
So, something to keep in mind with your listeners.
And it's funny that you had mentioned about cleaning the roof. I'm literally not kidding on this. I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, when should we clean the roof? Because it's never been done. And when you see someone that's just had a roof done, like, it's beautiful, it looks fresh, it looks clean. Doing that yourself is not, I know for a fact, I don't want to be up there because I don't want to fall and kill myself. But I was just thinking about that the other day, like, when should we be cleaning our roof? I'll pull this all together and just saying that it sounds like a lot of what you do is about preventing. You're getting the termite inspection, you're getting the termite treatment, even if you don't have termites, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So let's prevent the bed bugs by thoroughly checking things. Don't just bring it into the house, making sure you're taking all these things out. We went on a trip to, oh gosh, I think it was Belize, and they had these little ants in the bathroom that drove me crazy. And when we came back, I said, do not bring that into the house. Take this, put it out. I will get everything out and put it in the washer immediately. So it's really about preventing. And that's what thrift diving is about. It's about not just decorating and improving, but it's about maintaining your home. And I think all the things that we talked about is about maintenance, is doing the preventive things, making sure that you set money aside to do those, because it sounds to me like the cost to treat it once it's become a problem is 3, 4, 5, if not more times more difficult.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And I think people who are listening to this, especially first-time homeowners, they may not have known this, because I know when I moved into my home, I didn't know anything about what I should be doing to maintain. And it's been a lifelong, I say lifelong, the life that we've lived here for the last 10 years, it's been a lesson in learning how to properly maintain my home. And I say myself, but that's also knowing the knowledge of what I need to do and when. So thank you so much, Rory. Your contact information is going to be down below, but tell people where they can find you on YouTube, on your website.
Yep, on Facebook, I am Bug Boys PC. Bug Boys PC on Facebook. YouTube, just Google on YouTube, Bug Boys Pest Control. That'll come up. I'm on Instagram, Bug_Boys on Instagram. I'm on TikTok.
Wow.
TikTok, and I can't believe our TikTok. We've got almost 50,000 followers on TikTok. And
What?
just,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's amazing just by posting bug videos.
You make it interesting though. I'm telling you, anybody who's listening to this, you have to look at Rory's YouTube channel. It's so captivating the way that you're showing termites in an up close way that I've never seen before. And the way you describe it and the information that you're giving people, it's really helpful, which is why I was like, I got to talk to you. Like people have to know who you are because you're amazing at what you do.
And if anybody has any questions, if you ever have a question, you can always send me an email, bugboys316@gmail.com. And I get phone calls at 3 a.m. saying, I got bed bug. I answer it because we have 24-hour emergency service. So
that's amazing.
But if you ever have a question, anybody can go send me pictures. You can send me a picture. If you see a bug, send me a picture. If I don't know what it is, I send it to my entomologist. We'll find out what it is. But if somebody tells you that they have termites and it could be flying ants, send me a picture. Get a good, clear picture. Bugboys316, say, hey, Rory, what is this? And we'll make sure that your people are being honest.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you, Rory, so much. And down below in the show notes, you'll have all the links to everything. And we will see you on the next episode.
All right. Thanks, Karina.
I told you this was going to be the craziest, most disgusting video you have ever seen. But I really hope that it was helpful because I know for me, I learned a lot of things about termites and bed bugs that I didn't know. So down below, there's a lot of links with Rory's YouTube channel videos. Trust me, watch these videos. It's actually very interesting to see what these kind of pests look like, how you can prevent it, and making sure that you're dealing with someone who's going to be honest with you. So if you love this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, let them know what bed bugs look like, what an infestation looks like in furniture. And I think if we become a little bit more educated and take some preventive measures, we can prevent these problems from happening in the first place. We can at least hope. Okay, guys, I will see you next video. And remember, my podcast is available down below, but you can find it on Apple iTunes? No, it's not. Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Google. You can find it on Stitcher, Pandora, all those places. Definitely support the podcast. Leave a review and let me know what you think. All right, guys, I'll see you next video and next podcast.